Good afternoon. It's time to rockery and roll, as John Aggett would say. It's gardening question time with head gardener Lee McGrady. How are you, Lee?
Fantastic, thank you, Carl.
Yeah. How is the capital in Portugal today? Good.
Pardon?
Good. Kicking back with a beer and ready to answer a few questions. Perfect. There we go. And you were spotted in kind of hazmat outfit earlier on. Actually, I might be able to just share that on the screen. Maybe you can explain to us what was happening with this rather scary get-up that you were. Let me see if I bring it onto the screen for a moment. Yeah, look, what's that all about there? What happened? You see this?
Well, I was spraying some chemical in the garden, and I was explaining why I like to keep the inside of the fruit trees hollow out, and just did a little video to show how much easier it is to spray into the trees. Yeah.
There you go. So that is on our group, folks, if you want to find out. And that is how you should be dressed appropriately, right, Lee, when you're messing about with that stuff.
Yeah. There's some stuff that's quite popular here at the moment, like need oil and stuff like that, where you don't need any protective equipment. But the stuff I was using on that day was a little bit nasty. So, yeah, fully dressed, ready for the job. Yeah,
a bit nasty. Yeah. Crop dusting. Okay, fantastic. Nice bit of crop dusting in Lisbon there. Okay, and good afternoon to you, Anna, as well, in Devon in the UK. How are you today, Anna?
Yeah, doing good. It's been fairly busy weekend as well. Had the social on Saturday, and went to a sort of open studios yesterday as well. So I think I had something every day last week, and keyboard lesson, all that sort of thing, and birds still coming to the feeders, which is a good sign. And I think autumn's just starting to come in a little bit. I did see a couple of leaves falling, I think. So I think yes, the seasons are on the change, I think. But all doing good though.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Autumn's here. And yes, not even Brexit can stop autumn, can it? Sir. I don't know if it's me, but my connection's not brilliant. It's a bit choppy. But are you there, John?
Yes, I am. I am here. It's been quite a good week for me. Relatively quiet. A few things going on, a few bits and pieces. Because of course, over here in the UK, we're having a bit of a lorry driver crisis, and particularly the tankers. It seems to be everyone's buying lots of petrol. Panic buying petrol, aren't they? Silly people. But yeah, I think it will be quite. I know you put a post up something to do with not so long ago in history we got 40% of our food from the garden or something, didn't you, Carl? A few days back. You put something to do with that up, didn't you, in the group? Or have I got that wrong?
I was going to post that up today.
Oh, I thought I saw
you're
that.
Right. My connection isn't great. I think it might well be me, but you did. I'd love to talk about that. I can bring it up onto the screen now, actually, John. And apologies everybody if the streaming is a little bit choppy today and a little bit hard to listen to. But this is what John's referring to. I had no idea actually that it would be so sort of prescient and appropriate. But time to get super organised, folks. And this is from a group called Awakened Pages over in the UK, and talking about UK food shortages. And we were ahead of our time, weren't we? Suggesting people that they might get out and grow some of their own food. But the interesting thing here that I thought was great was not so long ago, 40% of food in the UK came from people's gardens. So maybe it's time for a bit more of that. And I wonder what that figure would be now. What would you estimate that is now, Lee? Less than 10%?
Oh, definitely less than 5%. I imagine. I imagine it's less than 5%. Probably a little bit more here in Portugal than back in England.
Yeah, we've all.
You could probably hover around the 20% here in Portugal, because I know a lot of the gardens here are predominantly veg gardens. But back in the UK, it's very far and few between, and seems to be an ethnicity divide in England. It's definitely divided in age groups. You've got older people that still grow a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of the people from the Middle East and from Asia, they grow a lot of their own food in the gardens in England now. I don't know if that's something historical that they've brought with them from wherever the family originated from. But I know a few Asian families that have good vegetable plots in the back of gardens, and it impresses me because it's different foods as well. It's not traditional veg growing in England. They're growing all sorts from all over the world, and it's great. It's great to see people still doing it as a traditional way of getting the food from home, sort of in England. I quite like that.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think necessity is the mother of invention, and people miss things, so they grow them themselves if they can't find it in the supermarket. Not that that's a massive issue anymore. I mean, we live in globalized times, don't we? I mean, all things being equal and the distribution being there. But
well,
this is
you say that, and
some of the expats in the Algarve.
You say that, but we're also, John was just talking about the fuel shortages and having some sort of reliability where you can guarantee your precious foods that you want. The only real way to guarantee anything is to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And we did talk about it in the last. We talked about it in the last lockdown about how people that are growing their own food are not only growing healthy food for the family suite, but they're also keeping their mind occupied and giving themselves something to do and keeping themselves mentally balanced throughout that crazy time that we had. And again, I imagine
well said.
The uptake in seed potatoes for next spring will still be there because of the fear of the fuel prices and the Brexit debacle. So it's all good, in my opinion. Anything that stresses people to be more self-sufficient is a good thing, even if it's just a little. A little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so a few good evenings. We've had Matty already with his Portuguese greeting. Boa tarde, jardinagem. Feliz cresça para todos, and very, very helpfully supplies the translation as well. Good afternoon, gardening folks. Happy get out and grow to everyone. That might be a literal translation there. Stephen Wells also here. Stephen, hello. Mate, how are you? Mark as well from Norfolk. Fantastic. So while you're here, Eric, let me just share the pictures of your harvesting of the peanuts that we didn't quite get in time, or I didn't discover them in time. You sent them in time. I didn't see them in time, but these look like little mice. Of course, peanuts that are being harvested by you, and there's another shot of them there. Isn't that lovely to see fresh peanuts? Because I suspect the Percy Daltons that you see in a bag are probably harvested too, dried and preserved. And they're going to. Do they taste very different, Eric? When you harvest them like that, are they a bit softer and a bit tastier? I wonder. Jason, hi guys. He bought me one of those suits on Sunday, haven't they? So Jason's very glad of that hazmat outfit there over there. He's probably going to a rave in it as well. And Cindy B's here. And how are you, Cindy? How are you feeling? How's it going? Will Thompson is here. Look, everybody. You all look well. Much love. Can't stop, he says. He's a busy man. Got things to do. Butard, fellow gardeners from Susan Derringer as well, of course. And Will, John, you're not wrong. Potential to grow your own. A bit of an echo there. 40%. Get out and grow. Do you know the name of our program might be adopted more widely? Who knows? Jason picked up a cube of well today. Oh, okay. To get my veg beds prepped, to have 2 more to pick up tomorrow. So, is this a cubic meter? Can you buy it by the meter then?
A lot of bulk sales in Portugal are done by cubic meter rather than the ton bags we're used to in England. So when I was getting soil and sand delivered at the beginning, I had to rethink about what the measurements were and what quantities are going to come in a cubic meter. But I'm over it now. I know now.
Over it. Fantastic. What his car smells like, though, today, later on this afternoon. Eric, well said. Gardening is great for the mind and the mouth. That's a nice way of putting it as well. Nice one, Eric. Appreciating your sentiments there, Lee. This link works. Most of you again. No, we're only about 12 minutes or so into the show, Fiona. We've not missed too much. And I have to say, I keep forgetting to mention this, but we do have this very interesting concept that got sort of buried a bit, pardon the pun. Dig versus no dig. What happened there? We'll come back to that later on in the show and find out what went on with that. And because we got both of you here. Also got my grubby mitts on grape today. Nice. Harvesting the grapes and start fermenting on Wednesday, and then start on the apples for cider next week. I think he's well. It's safe to say Jason is feeling better, right?
I met Jason on Sunday for
he's getting his
short time.
back in order.
And he looked good and healthy to me. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I had a nice little chat with him. So that was nice to catch up with him. Yeah.
Good. Excellent. Coping with the old COVID infection there, Jason, if you will. Yes, the peanuts need to be dried after harvesting, 20 minutes at 150. Oh, okay, so not good to eat straight out of the ground there by the sound of it. And they need a bit of treatment. So 20 degrees centigrade in the oven works well. Okay, what is whelp? What did somebody say whelp? I wonder. Does anyone recognise that?
I think when you were reading out that comment about manure. I think when you were reading out that comment about poop or manure, it sounded like whelp for some reason. I don't know if it was something to do with your connection. I think that's what is it, Fiona? I think that's what she's talking about, possibly.
The whelp.
I could be wrong. Rotted. I could have, but yeah, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, whelp rotted. That might.
Yeah.
I think it's. Yeah, I think it's your connection, Carl. I think it's cutting words short for you.
Oh dear, sorry about that. Good evening. A bit of dirt on your veggies keeps you alive. And Pippa Young is here from Botswana. So given that you're here, let's go back to those pictures. I think I overlooked a long time ago. Bougainvillea close up. Look at that. His two eyes staring at you out of the plant. And those lovely paper bougainvillea. But look at this. Anna, you share some fantastic video footage from your garden, but here's something else. Botswana get hippos at the bottom of the garden. Is that a white egret or something like that on the back of this fantastic picture? Thank you very much, Pippa. Send your pictures in, folks. We love sharing them on the screen here. You can eat peanuts straight after harvesting, but they taste bad and soft. Much better after drying. Interesting. She says is still happily producing tomatoes daily and had another pumpkin. First weighed at 8 kilos. Wow. This one is a mini in comparison. Lol. Also, peppers in abundance. So I deleted the last question as I think Jason's full comment. So there you go. And what about you, Lee? What do you have to say about this dig, no dig thing? Have we not seen enough evidence yet to make an assessment?
Well, unfortunately, with my work, I've not put the effort in that I should have done on the veg plot this year. So I think we just conveniently forgot about because I weren't making the effort. But I did recently strip all my veg beds out, and I'm going to do a bumper crop of potatoes in them. So I've been doing my digging side of it. I've just not been showing you the fruits of my labour because it's not been my best year. I would probably have still have won, but it's not been the best year. But I'll do I'll do a video end of this week or next week. I'm doing my potatoes, me late potato crop, because everything at the moment is now stripped. We've got nothing in vegetable wise. Everything's been ripped out, and the bed's looking nice, and the soil's looking great. The soil's looking really well. I'd say we started off and it was a poor sandy mix, and with my own composting and digging all the greens back into it, I've got a really healthy, thick soil now on the veg beds as well. So it's good fun digging it. I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
We'll have to come back to the no dig.
Okay, the original half of no. She's not letting it go. Original half of no dig is producing heaps of scarlet beans, plus has given 5 butternut squash from only 2 plants plus 2 small ones still growing. So I think both of you are very proud. Facebook user here. I'm new to Portugal and gardening. What is the best time to plant potatoes and garlic? Head gardener, straight to you for that one.
I'm doing some this week. I intend to plant potatoes all the way through my veg beds in the next few days, the next week at the latest, depending on work wise. But you can still get good seed potatoes from the agricultural shops. They're freely available in Portugal at the moment. In England, you might be a little bit late for it, but in Portugal, we can plant now and harvest just after Christmas, or just around the Christmas period, depending on what variety you're going to put in. So, yeah, if you're in Portugal, go good now.
And that's on the potato side. What about garlic?
How did your garlic go on, Carl? That you started off in the windowsill many months ago. Yeah, you can start the garlic now as well. But like I said, put it in the fridge, like we discussed on the original video for garlic. Put it in the fridge or in the freezer for a short time first. Start it on the windowsill, and then put it out in the garden. But yeah, you can start garlic now as well. It'll be a fine old wintering outside. Yeah.
I opened to my garlic. I started them off, didn't I? And they threw some roots down. I'd forgotten to put them in the fridge for that little extra bit of treatment. So a mess basically twice since then hasn't really helped. So I will try again when the circumstances allow. But I don't know who you are. That particular Facebook user, as Anna often permission to Facebook to connect with your ID, and then it will tell us who you are. But why not tell us yourself? Brilliant, thank you. You're saying if you are indeed the same Facebook user. Question from since I'll rent a place until I buy my own property, I'm thinking of starting gardening in buckets. I'll move them later. What size bucket should I get? So that's a good question, Matty. Thank you.
It is a good question. It all depends on what you intend to grow. Strawberries and soft fruits like the strawberry can be done in really small containers. Fruit trees, potatoes, you want something around the 50-litre mark for those, so you've got plenty of space for them to grow. So it all depends on the actual veg you want to grow. Growing salads can be done in the smallest of containers, or in tiny containers. You just got to, when you're starting your container veg garden, you just got to be realistic about if you can move it around with the sun and chase the sun in the garden with it. If you're in like a yard, and then if you're intending to move while the plant's growing, you have to be aware that you're going to have to move plants that are delicate. So try and keep it to the minimum size you can get away with, depending on what veg that is or what fruit it is. Takes a bit of thinking about, because you don't want to start a 50-litre container of potatoes and then have to move it in 4 or 5 weeks when all the weight's in there and it weighs a ton. So just plan ahead with how you can move it. Yeah. But
okay, so 50 litres being a big thing.
Yeah, maximum 50 litres. But if you talk about herbs and stuff like that, you could grow them in a pot the size of a teacup. So you can start from the smallest pots up to the big 50 litres, and then think about the cost of it as well. 50 litres of compost, and then your seed potatoes. And if you're going to be somewhere where you're not going to get the use of them, then is it worth starting? So go for things that grow quickly, like the peas and the carrots. They can be done in containers, and they're dead quick, so you'll get a quick turnaround on it. So if you do move, you might get a chance to harvest before the move. So, yeah, it's a good question.
Oh, very good. Yeah, great answer as well. Thank you, Lee. Anna, do you want to take this
we're
next one?
We're getting a slight surge of questions, so I'm just trying to keep up a little bit. We've got one from Eric. I think I remember sort of covering this one before, I think. Any ideas about keeping cats away from empty gardening beds with loose soil?
Shotgun does the trick. But if you don't upset your neighbours, there is a here in Portugal at all the big Leroy Merlins, they sell a a liquid you can buy which repels cats and dogs. Apparently, some people have had good success with it. I've never really used it, so I couldn't give an opinion on its value, but I know a few people that have said that works quite well, and it's for sale in all Leroy Merlins, and it's next to the mole traps and the weed killer that they sell. So it's got a little picture. It's a litre container with a little picture of a cat and dog on it. So if you're in Portugal, that stuff works well. I've got a photograph of it in my phone. I'll post it in the group later.
Oh, good on you. Good on you. And yeah, it's not nice, is it? The little presents that get left by cats. It's not as if it grows into a kitten or anything like that. It's pretty grim.
I don't really have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it. It's part and parcel of the trade, unfortunately. You're never going to stop them all.
Nature. Okay. Fiona is saying, I'm about to start new spud bed, garlic, onions and leeks, plus more carrots should have been today. What happened? Later, was it raining? Later we'll make new spaces for winter veg if they ever germinate. So far only got beetroot up. Sounds pretty impressive though. And Jason responding to you, Lee, going to get some spuds into, was only going to plant some more greens and some broccoli, but chips would be good, wouldn't they? Fantastic. John, do you want to pick up on some of the questions?
Yeah, Eric, I don't think we've done this one yet. So this is Eric asking on YouTube. I'm asking for a friend, and they have dogs and cats living together on their farm, but the cats rather keep pooping in the loose soil. Lol. So this is sort of a follow on from the question a couple of questions ago. So yeah, we've covered that, haven't we? It was that I can't. What was the stuff called again? That in Portugal, Lee?
Well, I can't remember the name of it, John, but I've got a photograph on my phone. I'll post it in the group later.
Cool.
That's what I said. But again, if it's your own cat and dog, then that might be a different issue because you don't want to put a chemical down that's going to repel your own animals. So you could you could grow through a membrane. You can put a plastic membrane down, and then just cut your holes to fit your plug plants, and that removes the access to the bare soil that the cats have had, and they'll find somewhere else to do the business in. But again, the membrane will cost you €1 per square metre, so it's not so expensive. So you can cover your whole veg bed with it and just make little slits where you want to put your plug plants in and let them grow through the membrane. That'll prevent the access to the soil.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay, Don, Carl, good evening. And your hosts, to the other host there, a message from Don. Is there a market garden potential in Portugal? What is the rate from consumer in Portugal? And have you got wholesalers? I.e., what do the growers get re-end price? Do you think it's a good business to go into, head gardener? You'll know the answer to this.
Business-wise, it's a hard business to get into because so many people do it. There are a lot of local markets, as you know, Carl, where people have their own little market stall and they sell products from their own garden. You're not going to be a millionaire off it, but you might just cover your costs and make a few bob for your beer money, get a bottle of wine out of it. And it depends how much space you've got and how much effort you want to put into it. Someone like Jason, who's still a young lad, who's got plenty of land, he could make a good go at it, living a good life. But with a small garden and anyone getting of age, I don't think they could really make any real money at it. No offense to the older generation.
There you go, Don. Is that what you're thinking? No, it's hard work, isn't it? It's the original work, and it's hard.
It is hard work. It can be backbreaking at times, and the financial reward isn't always there because people have especially here in Portugal, they don't want to pay the high premium rates for homegrown vegetables when the neighbours and other family members are doing it and giving it away for free. I don't understand why the supermarkets in Portugal sell oranges, because they're on every garden has an orange tree, and everybody's giving oranges away all the time when they're in season, and yet the supermarkets still stock them. Yeah. It makes me laugh in a bad way.
But therein Yeah, but therein lies the problem, I think, is that this whole business of people growing their own is undermined by convenience. You're absolutely right, and I've said this to people here. Why are there oranges in the supermarkets when they're so freely available? And it's because people are shopping anyway, and they pick them up, and people get lazy, and that's why we've got the situation that Don's addressing here. I think that there is no money anymore because the big producers have also dominated it.
Yeah, they have. I think we have quite a lot of cooperatives around Portugal as well, depending on the area you're living in. So I think they're sort of still holding out and fighting back against the big producers, but cost effectively, unless you're selling on local markets or you're selling stuff at your gate, you're not going to make a fortune at it. It won't pay the mortgage. But, yeah.
No, indeed. Unless, of course, I mean, what's happening? It's amazing at the moment. More and more people want to move here, and I think there's a higher concentration of Americans coming. Now, Americans are used to paying much higher prices, and also the differentiation in particular produce. So the farmers market and spend a lot of money in a way that there aren't those sorts of farmers markets here. I mean, there are farmers markets in as much as there are people who grow stuff and take it to the market, but they're not the sort of farmers markets that I think you see in the United States, where it's like, somebody has hand reared a particular heirloom carrot and it's purple, and you buy 3 of them for like $10 or something.
Yeah, I don't think there's
and you really savor them and cook them.
I don't think there's a market for that here in Portugal. Before the lockdown, I was looking at growing veg inside industrial units and selling micro veg to restaurants. It was something that was becoming popular just before the COVID outbreak. And I think that might rear up again. But then again, that's a very niche market. You're selling to high-end restaurants or restaurants that are prepared to pay the money for micro veg. And I think if there's money to be made in vegetable growing, that's the way it's going to go. It's not traditional garden veg. It's industrial units grown under LED lights with liquid feeds.
Yeah, interestingly, there you go, Don. What are you thinking, Don? If I'm not asking you to spill the beans and give away your trade secrets or your intellectual property, but what's on your mind there, Don? And are you on the way here and thinking of doing something like that? Hey, Catherine. Kate, how are you? Have your company this evening? Matty was thinking about tomatoes, potatoes, salads and herbs, mainly stuff to eat, of course.
That was referring back to the
pictures of
the pot and tub question. Yeah.
Yeah, containers. That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll have a quick walk round. I'll show you my strawberries are still going. We're off.
Go.
So, these are the herbs that are grown. So try and get them on the screen. This soil bed is no more than a foot. It's got 10 foot long, but it's only a foot wide, and the soil in it's very shallow. It's only 8-9 inches deep. But we've got herbs in containers in pots. We've got strawberries in pots, and then over here is our main strawberry crop, and that, as you can see, is in a container. That's perfect. Beauty. Still producing those strawberries. Dead easy to move around, and these are the pots that are ideal for growing potatoes in. This is a 50-litre plastic container. I think these are down to 25-litre, but 12. So anything of that size for potato and veggies is perfect. And then you've got the collection of
cool.
Can you get them? Collection of my pots hidden around the corner of the shed so no one can see them. It's like a mess. And my work for this afternoon, starting the firewood collection. That was how I kept myself busy this afternoon.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, the container garden's a good idea. I mean, I've got all the space here, but we still do it. We still grow in containers just for convenience. Especially, like I said, the herbs, the tomatoes, peppers, anything like that can be grown in a container and easily moved around. And transported from one property to another.
Terrific. Thank you for that, Lee. Brilliant. Thank you very much for at all. We always like to have a little nosy around your garden, Lee. Fantastic. Hey, John, I think Cindy B's got an interesting way of dealing with cats. Have you seen that? He's been repelled.
Motion
like
activated sprinkler will work for those cats, apparently. It's quite an interesting thing.
It's something we've talked about in the past. They aren't available. They're available on Amazon Spain.
Well, for burglars at the front door as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And they run off the solar panels, so there's no connection to the mains electric. They're dead easy to set up. But if it's your own cat and your own dog, it'll be triggered constantly, won't it? And you might not want to get a wet cat in the kitchen every 2 minutes.
And they might not want to live with you anymore if you treat them like that, of course. Yeah, absolutely. That's worth remembering. Thank you for that, Lee. And thank you, Cindy B, for that idea as well. Motion activated sprinkler for pests. Yes, carrots and beans in the container garden there. So it's going to be a mobile garden. Pippa Young saying, yes, a cattle egret, Carl. They get a free ride on a hippo or kubu in set for the hippo to disturb the bugs in the reeds and then grab a meal. Isn't that a lovely thing? And there's the picture again there. So any pictures you've got of wildlife in your garden, can you beat that? A hippo there. And the cattle egret on top. Do send them in to 913-590-303. That WhatsApp connection. Let me just pop that.
I was out for a bike ride.
Actually, same number.
I was out for a bike ride on Saturday.
Go on, mate.
And I saw a few egrets on the river, but I also saw a flamingo or a group of flamingos, which was surprising to me. I had to Google it to make sure I wasn't seeing things. But yeah, here in Portugal, we have flamingos.
In Lisbon?
Yeah, on the estuary. Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, they are known to come to the. They're known to come to the Obidos, but I didn't know you see them from time to time in Lisbon. But they were saying also that we got dolphins have been spotted up here as well. Well, in Salia de some interesting nature activity then in Portugal this weekend. Deborah's here. Deborah Davies. Good afternoon to you. Hello, everyone. Go on, Lee.
There's always dolphins to be seen down near Stubble Way. They do boat rides out to see them, and occasionally they come up by Cashew into the river, into actual Lisbon centre. I've seen quite a few photographs of them under the bridge, with the bridge in the background. Yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah.
Thunder's
here. Thunder's leaks. Top good. Yeah. Hey up, Deborah. And Thunder Duck's here. Yeah, who loves the good life. The iconic self-sufficiency sitcom of the 1970s that I believe he watches the old episodes on YouTube. They're all there if you want to watch that. Anna, I've been a bit neglectful of some of the questions that might have come into you. Go ahead.
That's all right. I've got two written down. I think I've got so many coming in on the live stream. I can't quite keep up, so I've got two written down, and the others I'll have to check through. We've got one from Mansell on grass leaves. I had to message for the name of it because I couldn't quite pronounce it, but basically the grass is showing a few brown leaves. Is it normal for this time of year? This is for the Plymouth area in UK.
All the ornamental grasses, or 90% of the ornamental grasses, they do have a dieback period, and I imagine Plymouth and the north of England, the south of England is coming up to that now, and you'll get two particular types of dieback on them. You'll get, if you imagine most ornamental leaves grasses are a long leaf plant. You'll get a dieback from the tip, where it dies slowly back from the tip of the grass to the base, and then you get some that die back in patches on the upper part of the leaf, and that creates like a hole all the way through, and then it slowly spreads up the length of the grass for your dieback. But it's nothing to worry about, and give it a few weeks, it starts looking really brown, then go in with a secateurs or shears and give it a nice haircut, and that'll help stop disease and fungus getting inside the root ball or the plant base, and allow space for new grass shoots next year. It happens from everything from the pampas grass right down to the smallest of grasses. So it's nothing to worry about.
Anything else from you?
The only other question I have for the Ipplepen area, for Kerry might answer, is any good bushes or trees for birds in winter?
Oh, I might make myself unpopular here. I would always recommend holly because they're a great evergreen, and they've got, if you let it shape up and get tall, you've got lots of space inside for them. So holly, hawthorn, and the one I make myself unpopular by saying is rhododendron. If you can get a nice size rhododendron bush going in your garden, it's no good for insects or anything like that, but it's great cover for the birds. They like to move around underneath the rhododendrons, but not a popular plant for good reason back in England. So yeah, you're looking for anything that's evergreen and that you can prune back at the end of the winter and the start of the spring. So holly, rhododendron, would I say laurels? Laurels are fantastic for them. Hawthorn and blackthorn, brilliant. If you get some space for hawthorn and blackthorn, they will be the ones that are great for the birds and for the bird food as well, when the berries come up.
Terrific. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Anna. Okay, Anna, thanks very much. Eric is saying, lol, since I'm ex-military, my aim is okay, but I'm not too sure the neighbours would appreciate me shooting the cats. I think that's right, Eric, and he is just joking, cat lovers.
I am just
we're probably not going to spray
yeah.
him either. You heard what Lee said. Yeah, absolutely. My mum put, you have to say that, don't you, sometimes? My mum put loads of holly leaves in her flower beds. There we go. The holly bush is, can I
imagine that works, but they're not the prettiest of leaf when they start to dry up and go that crispy brown. So it's not pretty, but it will deter them for a short time, and they might find somewhere else to go and leave you alone after a short time.
It would stop me. Definitely, it would stop me. I'm sure it would you as well, Lee. But can you get holly in Portugal, for example?
You're breaking up a bit there, Cal, mate. I couldn't hear you properly.
Do we have holly in Portugal?
Oh yeah. It's becoming more and more popular, actually. I'm seeing more and more of it in the garden centres. You don't see many mature holly bushes or holly trees in the gardens, but it is becoming more and more popular. Not as popular as it is in England, but it's definitely here. Yeah, it's definitely available.
Right. There you go, Deborah, who also says she doesn't have an orange tree. So there's somebody you might buy from the supermarket. Or get to know your neighbours, Deborah. They'll bring you oranges. That's the thing about Portugal. You leave your back door open. Not only do you leave your back door open, when you come back, there's a bag of oranges inside the back as well. Good life, lol. Don't get your leeks nicked, says Thunder, who do loves the good life. As I said before, nice. Oh, she's upset that she hasn't got an orange tree. I think that's a bit sad. One Thunder like, whoa, where can I get 3 heirloom carrots for €10? So perhaps there is a market for such things. If growing to sell an end product, go for microgreens and sell to restaurants. So Fiona agreeing with you. For the more specialist veg as a starter, the growing different veggies increasing, i.e. the China. Yeah, lemongrass would be a great thing to grow, wouldn't it? I will come visit you, Lee, to get more and tricks once I'm in Portugal. That sounds very threatening, but I'm sure you'll be very welcome. That's going to be quite a meetup, isn't it, when that happens? Everyone who wants to learn more about the Wildlife Institute and wildlife in Portugal, and we put the link to that as well. You're breaking up a bit, Carl, pushing the bandwidth limit, I think. Yes, I am. I've changed computer today. I don't even know if you can hear me saying this, but I've changed to a desktop. I've even plugged it in. It might be early evenings in the neighborhood. Where that can happen, can't it? Bandwidth can get challenged early evening when all the kids come home from school, etc. The morning show wasn't too bad this morning, but apologies for that. Thanks, Carl, for posting the answer for the question. So this for any excessive produce to sell at a farmer's market, organic farming. I only want to. I think what we can deduce from that is that Don wants to be an organic grower here, and just trying to find out if there is a. Sorry for hogging the comments. No, Lee, will hollies grow over here in acidic, sandy soil?
Like I was saying earlier, I don't see too many mature holly trees, but they are becoming more and more popular as for sale in shops. And some of the newer gardens that I do, a couple of those have got holly trees that are maybe 4 or 5 foot tall now. So they're not big mature things that we're used to back in the UK, but people are growing them. Yeah. So they seem to be surviving to a degree. Right. Just going back to the organic garden bit, it's not hogging the questions because that's what we should be talking about. If you're going to try to make a go of growing veg to sell, you've got to find that niche market. And I would seriously recommend finding a specific thing that grows well in the area where you're moving to, and specialising in 1 or 2 vegetables that you can get the most money for at the end of the day. There's no point in trying to grow 50 different varieties of 50 different things and selling all little bits. You need to specialise in one thing. So the microgreens, the quick growing lettuces, anything like that, anything you can get a quick comeback on, even the baby carrots, even going small carrots and selling baby carrots to restaurants, that's where the only real money is going to be, I think, in my opinion. So there you go.
In the niche. Okay. Understand if you've got to leave us, John. Thank you very much for your contribution tonight. Lee and team, I'm going to try and grow cashew fruit this year, and I know I need 1 male to 11 females. Crikey. Has anyone grown it before? And any tips? Have you seen cashews, Lee, anywhere in Portugal?
I've not come across any yet, no. But it'd be interesting to see how they went on. I can't imagine there'd be a problem with it. The weather's pretty good for it. I'm not sure about the male to female dimensions either. I think the ones I have seen grown have been grown in specifically female beds with males dotted amongst it, but I don't think I've ever counted to see what the ratio is. But 1 to 12 sounds about good.
Okay. Yeah. All right, and growing conditions. Okay, he says, I'll ask the question in the back of everyone's mind. How well does the wacky grow here? I do not know to what you are referring there, Thunder, you rascal, trying to get us in trouble. But an answer from Nick, as lots of fire planes fly over. What are you going to say about that, Lee?
What I can tell you is that a couple of people that I've come across and have done work for have grown their own. It's not my cup of tea. It's not. Does it interest me? I'm quite happy with the beer. I can't get that to grow on trees. But apparently hemp grows really well in Portugal. But you would want to keep it covered, just so people don't see it. And you've also got to think about your feeding of it. A lot of people use tomato feed or banana potassium feeds. Apparently that works really well, but I'm not an expert, and yeah, it's not my thing. But it does grow well.
Yeah, you probably come to the wrong place there, Thunder. We're not the experts here, but it is grown on an industrial scale. Hemp production for medicinal use. Portugal has been identified as a place, and there are some huge growers here that have invested in production facilities all over Portugal. Yesterday, we harvested 2 bushes of Jamaica. The flowers are used to make delicious sweet tea. Do these plants grow in Portugal as well? Is that the same thing that he's talking about? I don't know. Two bushes of Jamaica. We're out of our depth.
I'm not commented on it. I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Same here. If you want to grow the devil's lettuce, that's your business, but we'll support such behavior. I know someone who made a fortune selling edible flowers to high-end restaurants after chatting with him for, if not most flowers are edible. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, again,
I don't eat belladonna or fox.
Again, it's a very niche market, and growing any flowers for the flower trade is the same as growing vegetables. You need to specialise in something that people want, and you get a quick return on. Just look at the just look at the cost of birds of paradise plants in any florist it's ridiculous to say that every garden's got a planting. Every Portuguese garden has a bird of paradise plant in it, yet the flowers are still in excess of €5 per stem in a florist. It baffles me. Yeah, craziness.
Interesting. Okay, so we're coming to a close now. I have a lovely picture to share with you from Pippa just in. Good luck with the cashews then. Good luck with whatever you're growing, Thunder. And thank you, Eric. Thank you, Matty. Thanks, Fiona. Thanks, Don, for taking part tonight. Have I missed anything, Anna, from you?
I was just trying to track back to the questions. I think the last one I saw was on cashews from Peter. I think I was just trying to track back because they were coming in quite quick. But I think we've mostly covered them. I think just having a quick look. I think we're mostly up to date. I think.
Great stuff, Anna. Matty says you can eat everything at least once. Cool. All right, smart ass. Thank you very much for that, Matty. And this beautiful picture then from Pippa to conclude with tonight. Always got to be respectful of the bee, right? Here we go. I think there on the girasol. Isn't that fantastic from Pippa in Botswana? I'll just tell you exactly what she said about that. Honeybee laden with pollen. There you go. On a sunflower, and that little beauty there, busted in yellow when you have a close look. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Pippa. Please keep the pics, voice messages. If you want to ask a question, you want to do it as a voice message. 913 is the number to do that. Thank you, Anna. Thanks, John, who's already gone, who needs to get off promptly at 7 o'clock. We do the Q&A from 6:15 to 7. Those are the official hours. And thank you very much to you, Head Gardener McGrady. Have a great evening.
Good night, everybody.